What are the prizes for this race? So the first category comes, and at the time the Prophet ﷺ was sitting with his companions one time, and the companions asked, and the Prophet ﷺ said, وعدني ربي أن يدخل الجنة من أمتي 70,000 لا حساب عليهم ولا عذاب مع كل 1,000 70,000 وثلاث حثيات من حثيات ربي عز وجل. A rough translation means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised him that he's going to let into the Jannah 70,000 without being punished or asked or questioned. With each 1,000 from these 70,000, another 70,000, and 3 groups from that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will just put in the Jannah other than these numbers. We'll come to the description of what are these 3, what does the Prophet ﷺ mean by these 3 groups. Among the people who were sitting in front of the Prophet ﷺ was a Sahabi, Ukasha ibn Muhsin Azdi. He was sitting there, so he heard the hadith, he jumped on it quickly. O Prophet, O Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'm one of them. So the Prophet ﷺ said, O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make him one of them. Another companion who was sitting over there, he's like, okay, O Messenger of Allah, ask me too, me too. The Prophet ﷺ said, no, Ukasha beat you to it. See, the Prophet ﷺ is instilling again the concept of a race, that whoever is first, he gets the reward. Everyone has to compete to be able to get to that position. So, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's more merciful than to have just a group of 70,000 and another 70,000. I mean, the companions and the people who follow Him will be more than that. But then the Prophet ﷺ and the rest of the hadith, 3 groups that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put in the heaven. The description of these 3 groups, as the scholars said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like in the, now with His hands, because we don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hands or not, but like in the metaphor of His hands, that He's gonna put His hands in the hellfire, get one group, throw it in the heaven without any question or nothing. Just a group of people that are in the hellfire, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gonna get them without what they did, whatever it is, and then put them in the heaven, and another group and another group. So the number is not limited. We don't know how much are gonna be from this group. But the concept is here that these people are gonna go to the heaven without being questioned and without being punished. So what is the second reward? We might think that that's not a big deal. Like, what if that were questioned? Let's look at the second group. The second group are those who are gonna be questioned in a very easy way. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gonna get them between Him and them privately, and like tell them, you did this and that, and that, of course, who's standing in that position is going to be very ashamed that his sweat is going to be to his knees, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to tell him, okay, I forgive you, go to the Jannah. That's the second group. So that and that it has an expression in the Quran and the Hadith, فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا. But the Prophet ﷺ has another hadith that says what? Says مَنْ نُوقِشَ الْحِسَابَ فَقَدْ عُذِّبَ. That whoever is questioned, that's a punishment for him. Not that's his punishment. No, that's an enough punishment that you're standing over there in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every minute that you did in your life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going over every hour, every deed, every good thing, every bad thing. And you're standing over there, you don't know, am I going to go to the heaven or the hellfire? The Prophet ﷺ says that that's a punishment on its own, that you're questioned. So Sayyidah Aisha asked the Prophet ﷺ, if we are going to be questioned anyways, as the Quran says, then how is that a prize? The Prophet ﷺ says that's what's called the arad, that you're going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to question you. He's just going to have a small conversation with you, and then you're going to go to the heaven. The third group are the people who are going to be questioned. And the Prophet ﷺ, by the way, for the second group, the Prophet ﷺ used to say, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make us among those who go through the arad. It's an easy way. The third group is those who are going to be questioned. And that's the 3 prizes. So imagine if you're not in the race and you didn't even take the third prize, what will be your position? Imagine if you say in this life, I don't want to compete on these good deeds. Let me just get whatever is there. So you're not going to be even in the third prize. Imagine what that means. So to move on for this race, there are a couple of fundamentals that we have to keep in mind. The first fundamental, it's a race for the heart, not the body. It's not by the actions that you do. It's by what your heart believes. And one of the scholars, a person came to him and said, I've been traveling this and this amount of time to come and see you. So the scholar responded to him saying, it's not about the amount you travel. If you took one step with a clear heart, that's going to elevate you a lot more higher. And we know the stories at the time of the Prophet. One of the stories, Quzman, he was one of the people with the Prophet, and he fought with the Muslims on the Battle of Uhud. And the Muslims, he fought right and left and killed all what he can from the non-believers, and etc., etc. So the Muslims were very proud of him on the day after the battle, and they said to the Prophet, without Quzman, we would have been destroyed. So the Prophet ﷺ said, he's in the hellfire. So they went to him and asked him, and they saw him like lying and he's bleeding. So they asked him, they're telling him, they want to ask him, they're not going to tell him you're in the hellfire, but they tried to ask him what's going on. So he said, I'm trying to tell him you did very well. So he said, no, you think that I did very well. I only did it because of the name of my family. I didn't want my family to be ashamed. I want them to have a better position. And then he took an arrow and killed himself with it. So he went to the hellfire because he died as a non-believer because of killing himself. So it is by the heart. The other concept is the person who killed 100 souls. That's his actions. That's what he did by his body. He killed 100 souls. And then he killed the person who worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he went to him and said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive me. The worshipper said, no, he killed 100 souls. He killed 99 at that point. So he said, okay, 99 from 100, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to forgive me anyways. He just killed the worshipper. And then he went and asked the scholar, and the scholar said, give him the way to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. And he went into the direction of asking for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness and to move from the land that he used to sin Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into another land. And think about it, that although that his distance, he didn't travel a lot, and he died, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him, not because of his actions, but because of his heart. So that's the first concept, that the religion of Islam is not a religion of